Hello divers, this is your diving buddy Dr. Kang, and let me start one more scuba diving stories. It is about herpes labialis that happens quite often after diving for many days. Since I started this YouTube channel, I have only uploaded, I think, several English version, but I have this first response from abroad, and his question was, "Hi, thank you for your video clips on YouTube. I am a diving instructor working in Thailand. I get herpes blisters almost all year round." It's pretty tragic, you know. And this, is this diving related? If so, what should I do? And I thought some questions like, I have done some functional sinus endoscopic surgery. How long should I wait? Go 6 weeks. Or until you feel perfectly okay with your nose. It's a simple question and simple answers. But questions like this, it's a little more complicated. So my answer was, thank you for asking. I will post this on YouTube ASAP. And here is a little story, a very basic story on herpes simplex. And when this herpes simplex attacks your perioral area or lips, we call that herpes labialis. So what is it? And the etiology, which is the quotes, symptoms, diagnosis, prevention, treatment. And let me introduce some other herpes simplex infections, some of which are not really simple as it sounds. So herpes labialis, it's a blister-forming skin disease after long exposure to sunlight. This is specifically for scuba divers who does a long diving trip, or some instructors or dive masters doing a lot of diving consecutively. So it's not just about the sun exposure. This herpes simplex can affect your mucosa, oral mucosa, as well as other part of your body, but this will be covered probably at the end of the presentation. But herpes labialis is of lips, and it's herpes simplex virus. So it's called HSV, which is very different from herpes zoster. Zoster is not very simple. It's very complicated, but this goes beyond the scope of today's discussion. So let me put it this way again. Blister-forming skin disease after a long sunlight exposure, but it's not really just for that. When your immunity goes down, let's say virus is herpes simplex virus, usually it comes from direct contact. So if your girlfriend has a herpes labialis, try to stay away from her lips. I'm not sure if I can do that, but or the herpes simplex virus, when our immunity is high, they hide inside some nervous ganglions. So until our immunity goes down, until we are very tired, until we get too much sun exposures, and these can be the cause of the hidden virus to come out, and they kind of produce more of themselves. Sometimes if you have some chronic infection of oral cavity, like a gingival stomatitis, in that case herpes labialis usually accompany that disease. Uh, People who fills their teeth or tooth with amalgam, or sometimes even with gold, seems like it's coming more often. So if you are not a, if you are not a diver, and if you are not a chronic exposure guy to sunlight, and you cannot think of any other cause, then you can probably go for oral hygiene, including the dental treatments. When you have a herpes labialis, certainly you have a blister, and the blisters rupture, and then they leave ulceration. This is the moment when it gets painful. And you also can have fever. Some people actually have some lymph node enlarging, and it's called the lymphadenitis, but this is not very rare. You can see it quite often. How do I diagnose the herpes labialis? Actually, herpes simplex labialis, you don't really need any diagnostic procedure. You just look at it and you know it. Also, you hear his or her history, then they usually have had the same thing over and over. So you can tell when you look. But you can tell by their symptoms that I have described before. And there are other diagnostic procedures like PCR or virus culture. PCR, this is a kind of PCR a tool, but that goes much far beyond the scope of this presentation. How do we prevent? You better use some barriers, especially when this herpes simplex come to your genital area. But you can also use some barriers on our lips or perioral area using thick sunblocks. About sunblock agents killing corals, that's another story. So probably I will make another presentation regarding that. But still, for your lips, this is one of the ways we can take. Drink a lot of water when you're diving. Drinking a lot of water will be emphasized on almost every diving related subject. So drink a lot. Vitamin C in high dose for a long time seems to work. There are quite a few articles saying, let's say like our daily dose for vitamin C is like 1 gram. But if you take like 6 grams for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then much of the problems go away. So does the oral gingival stomatitis, the ulcers happening on your tongues, gingiva, in oral mucosas. They are very painful once they come, but seems like it has effect on that part as well. And it certainly has some role in taking care of herpes labialis. There are many antiviral ointment. If you're a frequent patient, probably it's better for you to have one in your diving gear bag. And when you go diving, you can use it even for preventive purpose. Treatment. It's you know, it is painful and sometimes it gives you fever. So maybe analgesics, antipyretics, aspirin, ibuprofen, these can help. Sometimes we have a local anesthetic ointment. We use that for surgery, like some skin surgery. some people use it for very funny purpose as well. But anyway, when you feel pain, you can use this. It helps. There are some antiviral drugs. Maybe aciclovir is the most well-known drug, but this is kind of the first generation. It works well still. But like valaciclovir, this is new and it looks like it works better than aciclovir. There are some other agents, but to me they're almost the same. There's some alternative drugs that people believe they work. For example, it's a royal jelly, which I don't believe. It is sweet, but I don't know if royal jelly really work in herpes, in stomatitis, but a lot of people use this. Aloe vera, this one helps moisturizing, but not for the virus. Usually spontaneous recovery comes after 1 or maximum 2 weeks if you are not very unlucky to have secondary infection. So this is the usual treatment. There are many other diseases caused by herpes simplex virus, but when they come in other areas, the situation becomes more serious. Mother having this can transmit it to fetus, and the baby can be born with several different herpes simplex viral infection. Gingival stomatitis can also come from simplex virus. Genitalia, when you have this, it's very painful. Also, this is considered as one of the venereal diseases, so you better cure it. Herpes Whitlow or herpes gladiatorum, these are the herpes of your finger or fingernails, usually on your thumb or big toe, and this is a different entity, and it seems like it's a little different genetically from herpes simplex on the lips, and this is a little more long lasting. Encephalitis and meningitis can come from this herpes simplex virus. It's pretty fatal. Herpes can also attack esophagus, so it's called herpetic esophagitis, and these all come from herpes simplex virus. So today I talked about herpes simplex. What is it? And etiology was the virus. Symptoms: pain, fever, sometimes neck mass. Diagnosis: you can tell simply by looking at it. Prevention: try to cover yourself. And also, one very important thing is try to stay away from whatever reason that you get tired and your immunity goes down. Treatment: there are many different kinds of drugs, ointments, and to me those alternative drugs I don't believe. And also I introduced you with some other herpes simplex virus infection. And if you have any further question, you can call me to Korea. Area code is 82, so it should be 8210 45009113, and this is my email address. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.